So there aren't many impacts of inflation and supply chain issues that hit closer to home in Western New York than rising chicken prices. You may have noticed your order of wings getting quite a bit more expensive over the last year or so. And now some restaurants, for them, it means traditional wings are off the menu entirely, and instead they've switched to the boneless variety. This caught people's attention. Reporter Tracy Drury is with our partners at Buffalo Business First and wrote about these chicken wing issues, and she joins me now live. Tracy, as soon as we saw this article, we were like, we've got to talk to Tracy about this. I know you talked to the folks at one pizza place in particular in Clarence about changing over to boneless. I think some people watching are going to think that's kind of painful to hear. People are purists when it comes to wings here, but how did it work out for this particular restaurant?
Well, this is at Pesci's, which is in Clarence. They've been around for a while, and they said it was just too much up and down with the pricing. They just couldn't handle it anymore. And they made a pretty big decision for a Buffalo joint to get rid of the bone-in wings and switch to boneless. And they said they're doing great with it. People are pretty accepting about it. Most customers are okay with it. And he said it was a great quote. He said, it's all about getting the chicken, the sauce, and the blue cheese into your mouth. So if you've got those flavors, people are really okay with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And they didn't try to switch over to ranch because obviously that would have been, a final nail in the coffin. How rough is the chicken wing pricing right now for restaurants? And of course, those costs have to be passed on to customers, right? I mean, it's something that we've seen, as menus have, gotten so much more expensive over the months.
Sure. Well, what I'm hearing is that the prices are starting to come down. They're not as bad as they were last summer, last fall, but they're still pretty pricey. The good news is, and this was really interesting, because of the chicken wars that you're seeing at so many national chains for chicken sandwiches, they're producing more chickens, and the byproduct of that are the wings. So that means a little bit more supply on the wing side. So hopefully that will help as well. But it's not just the chicken. There are so many things that they just can't get. There's prices that are going up on so many other products. So they're really having to juggle what they're offering. And a lot of people are really just scaling back their menus in general to have more common ingredients between what they're making so they can buy them in bulk and save a little bit on that side as well.
Yeah, and it's one issue among many for so many restaurants. Tracy, what are you hearing from folks in terms of kind of the outlook looking forward, not just with things being so much more expensive with inflation and supply chain problems, but also their staffing shortages and everything else they're kind of facing, a lot of headwinds?
Sure. The staffing issue just doesn't really seem to be getting that much better. Places are scaling back their hours. Some are still holding off on bringing lunch back and maybe focusing just on dinner. And going back to scaling back those menus, they say that really helps them. They don't have to worry so much about having as many staff, and they can have some more consistency in what the staff they do have are able to produce for them. So they're dealing with it a few different ways, but it's an ongoing challenge, absolutely.
Finally, Tracy, the hardest question, are you a fan of the boneless chicken wings?
I have to say I like them both. A little bit less messy to have the to have the boneless, but I love my wings, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. Do we have any, I'm almost out of time, do we have any understanding as to why maybe the boneless can be cheaper?
Well, they say that you can buy them you buy by the pound and you sell by the pound versus selling them by the individual piece. So that helps. And they're basically, they're basically a glorified chicken nugget, but they've got the sauce on them and the right seasonings. Then you might have a winner on your hands.
You can make them taste pretty good. Tracy Drury is a reporter with Buffalo Business First. Great to see you. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you too. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the Town Hall.